Hey everybody, it's Daniel with Hyperacusis Hope. Today I want to make a video about finding our flow. Now, what does that mean in the context of hyperacusis? Obviously, it's not some official term, but I've kind of noticed that over time you kind of instinctually learn how to sort of live with it. Some days it's worse, some days it's better. And at least in my personal experience, there seems to be a way to sort of slowly learn to not only cope with the pain, but actually make it a little less and be able to kind of get out into the world a little more. First of all, I do have to leave the disclaimer that I'm not a doctor, I'm not an audiologist, and none of this is medical advice. This is just me sharing my experience. So, some of you may know that last week I got my hair cut. I'll put the image up just because, yeah, it took a long time for me to, find a salon that could accommodate me, and I did end up getting a setback. I used to be housebound. Although the past couple weeks I've been going outside for hikes, in a quiet area in the woods, listening to some music quietly. I've been able to do some phone calls, sometimes even in the same day. And compared to where I used to be, that's a huge difference. And so, it was really demoralizing when I got back to the place where I am now, where I'm kind of having to ration how much I talk in order to not experience pain, ear fullness, and just a bunch of other icky symptoms. That said, I've rested for the past couple days, and the pain, the ringing is going away a little bit, and I am starting to realize that I have not lost sound tolerance overall. It's kind of, to me, I kind of look at it as like, working out. You have to work out a muscle, and then you have to sort of let it rest, let it heal, and then you can kind of work it out again. I'm kind of instinctually finding this flow because today I found myself going downstairs for the first time. While somebody was cooking, my friend was cooking, and I talked to her, while she was cooking. As it turns out, the sound of the spatula caused some delayed pain. It actually went through my whole body, like fingers and toes, just this weird electric sensation. And I'm like, okay, this is new, this is weird. So obviously I'm taking some risks here. But I'm kind of letting it calm down. And so this is kind of what I've been experiencing personally now. There was a period when I was housebound, when I really just, after I had an acoustic injury, and then a few months later I was hit by a semi-truck. Airbags hit my face. That must have been crazy loud. I don't remember it, but a period where I was housebound. Like even going outside, the sound of cars passing, even with double protection, was too much. When my friend would wash the dishes, I'd have to put my earplugs in, and I don't think there's any one size fits all solution with hyperacusis. I know at that point, sound was damaging me, and a few times where I tried to push it, I actually ended up with new tinnitus tones and pain, and I still have those tones today. And so, it's not something you want to just be carefree about. In fact, I feel that a period of silence for many of us is a very important part of recovery. And I know for some people, they say that silence is necessary, that any exposure makes them worse. That, for them the bar is just not getting worse, they're not getting better. I absolutely believe that. Like I said, no one size fits all solution, and I trust people to know what's going on in their own bodies, So what does finding our flow look like in that context? Because I've been there. I'm super grateful that things have gotten a little better, and I hope they'll stay that way. Um, but one thing that I noticed, it was so important for me to get some kind of like motion. I was living in a lot of fear, rightfully so. This is not a fear condition. There's a fear aspect, but I mean, there's something physically going on in hyperacusis. Um, and I wouldn't want to move. Even just the sound of the sheets, is just so painful. I mean, it's crazy looking back how much I've improved, even though I'm still suffering a lot. Um, moving, even if you can't go outside, moving, some kind of movement, getting that blood flow. I've noticed that that's important. You know, um, Cooking, I know for me, was really hard when I was bad, but just making sure, I found that after I would eat, there was something about the chewing. So here's movement again. Very soft foods I would do that would help. Um, Finding that balance of trying to get some sort of social connection. For me, talking was difficult. Some days I couldn't. Sometimes people had a hard time understanding that. And looking back, I would have even stood up for myself a little more and just been like, hey, like, you're taking this personally, but it's not a personal thing. Um, but there's things we can do, like, watch movies with subtitles, like with somebody else. It's important to try to find some sort of routine that brings some sense of like normalcy and joy, even when things are really bad. Um, so those are my thoughts on finding our flow wherever we're at in our hyperacusis journey. I wish everybody health, healing, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.